Welcome to the Principal Podcast, where we talk about how the best professional services firms grow. Whether you're looking to scale your firm or learn from the stories of founders and leaders who've done it, you're in the right place. Join us as we interview the best leaders in professional services. Let's get on with the show.
Good morning, everyone. We're on with Scott Markman, founder and president of MonogramGroup, global branding company that'll share his story about how he got into this business in consulting and, more importantly, what he's doing right now to grow his business. He's got a unique story. We're going to let him tell it. So give us an idea, Scott. What got you into consulting and why did you start MonogramGroup?
So thanks for having me on the podcast, Dennis. So I am a graphic designer by education. I went to WashU in St. Louis, graduated in 1981 with a BFA in design. I was somebody else's designer for about 9 years.
Okay.
And eventually it got me to Chicago, where I lived for almost the last 40 years. And took a job here. It really didn't work out too well. And a year later, I was about 30 years old, crossroads of life. What do I do? And explored a variety of avenues for about 3 months. And one of them was to hang my shingle. Now, I'd only lived here a year and I didn't really have a network. I had one client I could potentially take with me, but no promises, no contracts. That's fact one. Fact two is I'm a third generation entrepreneur. My mom grew up in an entrepreneurial business in Allentown, Pennsylvania, in a bakery. And so she worked in the bakery with her siblings and her mom until she was 35. And then my parents started the business that they ran 9 months before I was born, and then sold that a month after I started MonogramGroup. And one of my options was to just move back to Baltimore, where I'm from, and take their business over and buy it from them and all that stuff. I thought about it for about a week, and I just said, Mom and Dad, you love it and I don't. And I didn't want to dedicate the rest of my adult life to it like they had. And God bless them. I loved it, built a nice franchise, but I had no interest. So then the remaining option was to give it a go on my own. And my parents loaned me, a little bit of money to give it a go. I had 90 days to make it. And so, here it is 36 and a half years later.
Good story. And in that time frame, obviously, you've seen a ton of changes in what you do. And think about, what are the problems you help people solve when you work with them? And
Sure.
why is that important to you, Scott?
Sure. So I'm a creative at heart. That's what I was trained to do. It's how my brain thinks. I love ideas. I love problem solving. And I live in the world of gray. I tell our clients all the time, we serve today private equity in the companies they own. Well, they're process, formula driven, black and white thinkers. But brand is a white sheet of paper often to problem solve, and there is no perfect answer. And so it's our agency's job to help do the research and due diligence to identify the underlying factors, market conditions, all these things, and then to lay out path A, path B, path C, path D on first brand architecture. Is it a house of brands, branded house, endorsed brands, that typical stuff? And then with that, what is the brand? Who are you? How do you go to market? How are you different and better? How can you differentiate yourself and establish a clear value proposition in 2 paragraphs? It's really hard. And our clients are not taught to think this way and to problem solve this way. So creatively, even though I've not been an active designer for 30 years, I'm involved in creative thinking and problem solving and table setting for the creative that the rest of the agency does that are, brilliant at what they do. But, I and a couple others own kind of the foundational strat work that is also enabled by the fact that I've been involved in private equity for 30 years.
Okay.
We picked up a client in 1996, a little randomly. It was a startup, candidly, that ended up becoming a titan in private equity called Antares Capital. They loosely invented private credit for middle market deals. And we were there on day one. I helped to name it and did the logo and all that stuff. And worked with them off and on for 14 years. And so we've been in this market for a very long time, about 115 clients. So we understand every angle of the private equity sector cold, the way virtually no other agency in America understands. Well, in 1996, private equity is a few hundred firms like doing this stuff. Today, it's like 6,000 or whatever the number
Right.
is. And it's a mega trillion dollar behemoth. Okay, so we've learned and grown and experienced to become experts at it, unlike anybody else. There are other agencies that work private equity and do a great job, but there's a handful. If there's 6,000 agencies in America doing something, probably under 50 have any reasonable kind of experience with private equity. So we're among a pretty rarefied bunch. Then there's the portfolio company that work that we've done, and that client counts another 70. And we're active today with maybe, I don't know, 15. And so when you look at the yin and yang of that, our agency has a very, very unique, differentiated model with a moat built around us in a market that's exploding in front of us.
So with that being said, you feel like you're in good position to move either direction you want to go, whether you want to expand and take on more clients, I would assume. But talk
Yeah,
about
no, our Dennis, our business mission is to scale. It's not to grow, it's to scale. I mean, 5, 10x over the next 5 years.
and you got a plan, no doubt, how to do that. So talk about who your ICP is. Who's that customer?
So actually on the portfolio company side, not in the private equity firm side. We love those clients. We get a bunch of them. Another thing that was sort of, a question you had sort of tossed our way is, is this inbound leads, outbound, a mix, whatever? We are today, this is both mostly a blessing, but a little bit of a curse. We are 100% inbound.
Okay.
We are found via, how'd you hear about us? Oh, I don't know. Somebody in my office did a Google search and you came up. I hear that twice a week. I mean, for like 7 years. So we are constantly fielding inbound inquiries or referrals. Now, obviously, we also do, repeat business, upsell, cross-sell, all of that good stuff. But I mean, in terms of like biz dev, it's not because I knocked on Dennis's door and he said, "Oh, I'll talk to you." And that doesn't happen.
Right.
All inbound. But today, the biggest opportunity by an order of magnitude, if we want to scale, is in the portfolio company side. Why? Because a relationship will yield recurring revenue that unless we screw something up, we don't have to defend.
There you go. So your ideal client in that portfolio side, is there a company size? Tell me what you target.
So
Is it all based on who calls you from a portfolio side?
we work with portfolio companies as small as, they tend to sort of scale or rate things by EBITDA, which is fine. I tend to think of revenue because it's a proxy for enterprise size as opposed to profit, because a $10 million, EBITDA platform could be a $40 million company. And I'm not saying there's something wrong with that, but I tend to sort of want to use other measures for scale, because scale relates to need and problem solving as well as cash flow to peel off to write a check to do this.
Correct.
It's just our experience. So in an ideal world, company is maybe AR of 75 million, let's say up to 500 million.
Okay.
Is our
Gotcha.
broad,
Sweet spot.
that's sort of our sweet spot. Number one. Number two, it's either first or second round of private equity ownership in the portfolio company. Thirdly, it's probably going to be B2B.
Okay.
Not that we can and don't do BC, we do, but the need and uniqueness and problem solving for who we are, what we can do for them is an easier sell process through the sales funnel on the B2B side, because nobody in PE leadership or portfolio company leadership comes from a brand background. And in 2026, they are now understanding that the fastest way to scale needs to have some degree of brand strategy and foundation laying and go to market, operationalize that brand to enable the sales force and marketing team and leadership to have what they need to go crush it, which is double or triple the scale and revenue and profit and value creation in the leadership whole time.
Okay. So when you look at that, then talking about, it sounds like you guys are really based primarily to get your clients marketing wise through referrals, your awareness of what you've already done and accomplished in the market that you target, whether it be PE or you look at all the other things you're trying to do. Tell me a bit about what channel is the best. Is it referrals? Is it your podcast? Is it conferences? I mean, what do you do to get people interested in your company? Is it just word of mouth?
So a couple things. We've been very active marketers for about 7 years.
Okay.
We did a certain amount of Google spend for about 5, 6 years.
Okay.
We have a huge database. We send out email marketing all the time.
Okay.
We have sources of deal information through the private equity, I'll call it information ecosystem, so that we can turn around and respond to sending out a personalized note to Joe Blow to get a meeting. Hey, just so you close this deal. We do a
Right.
certain amount of that. My podcast is a piece of that. We've done about 35 episodes, and we get a certain amount of interest just off of the podcast. It's not a primary, secondary, but it's important and it's growing. I have not been, I went to conferences for quite a while, not as a
Right.
presenter, but as a participant. It was a waste of time. Going forward, private equity conferences, if I'm not a presenter, I'm not going. It's
Right.
the wrong audience and the wrong message, and it's sort of get lost in the shuffle. Now, we in July kind of came into market with a completely new and market busting, I'll call it a product that is a way to operationalize brand using proprietary and customizable AI, like a hub.
Mm-hmm.
That we're a month into taking to market. We've done a ton of presentations, getting great reception, and it's going to be going forward kind of the tip of the spear for us. And so my mission starting like today is literally to evangelize this, I'll call it product, but also the category of commercial impact through operationalizing brand as a topic.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that people aren't necessarily talking about a lot. And so uniqueness or differentiation is always critical to have your brand stand out. So when you,
It's not that's a piece of it, but it's only halfway. The other halfway, Dennis, is let's imagine the term a roll up.
yes,
Private equity is going after roll ups in these unsophisticated fractured markets like roofing or something. And private equity 42 creates their own platform, and they've hoovered up 5 roofing companies in LA and Phoenix and Denver and whatever. So they bought these companies that are great companies in a market with tailwind behind it and all of that stuff, and they're kind of chasing the hoovering up, if it's 5 today, it could be 10 a year from now, and growing this thing so that when they package it up and they sell it to somebody else in 3 years, they bought it at underlying multiples of 6 or 7, and they want to sell it for 12, or they bought it for 8 and they want to sell it for 14. Well, how are they going to do that? Because they bought companies from founders, entrepreneurs, a roofing dude, and roofing dude was really good at what roofing dude did, but being brilliant at sales and having marketing and brand be a part of the why roofing dude made a really successful company, 0. And then multiply that by 5 when we walk in. You go, well, how are you going to suppose today revenue is 100 million, 120, how are you going to get to 200? You're going to have brand and marketing be a piece of that equation, because the way these individual entrepreneurs did it up until this point won't get you to 200 million. You have to have brand be a part of it. Well, what's the architecture? How do you differentiate it? How do you elevate it into a sophisticated brand, even in roofing and B2B? And how do you enable the salespeople from 5 or 6 disparate companies come together and be on brand so that every single day, every communication through the sales funnel is branded? Nobody can do that, and we can.
there you go. That's your differentiator. I mean, and you're right. And that's happening more and more where acquisitions are occurring. And then you've got a mess. How do you actually integrate everything that needs to be done. And I see that in the industry, in the space that I'm in all the time. So with that being said, tell me a little bit about how do you retain your clients, retention strategy. So you got a customer who agreed to work with you guys 2 years ago, contract period might be up. Do they stay with you for more services, or once you complete the branding, is that it, lights out, party over? Or are there other things?
No, I mean, sometimes that does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't, but our business mission is to take this through kind of a three-staged opportunity and approach. Stage three is there's three components to it. We do over the first 3 months, we do all the due diligence and the discovery, the strat work, the recos, the approval, the build out of the brand, the content, the creative, all the assets, all that stuff. It takes 3 months. That's first part. Second part is we go on retainer as their marketing agency and help them take this to market and interplay between sales and marketing, get all of it in market and get it humming, right? We're building a machine, build the machine. The third part is the customization and the build and the deployment and the training for that infrastructure hub for commercial impact that I told you about. That's AI based, that is proprietary to us and works with whatever AI platform they work with, Claude or ChatGPT or whatever.
Right.
So think of it as three legs to the stool. Now we allow them to buy any way that's comfortable for them. They want to buy the full boat and contract with us on sort of a 1-year retainer for all three legs to the stool. Great. That's ideal for us. If they want to do the first two, that's fine too. Get on retainer. And at some point they can add the infrastructure hub customized at some point. If they just want to start, I'll call it conservatively and just do the brand work, we'll do it on a project basis. And then it's, up to us to upsell them into the next stage of work. But we understand what our business mission is to get to the point where we're building and deploying that infrastructure hub in 100% of our clients. Because at that point, Dennis, we're making the most money and we're a technology play, not just an agency.
Yeah, you're no longer just an agency. So looking at your current business model, what percentage would you say choose option one, just the agency, option two, the work with that, and then finally option three? Where are you at with that?
Well, I'm only a month into telling the world we have option three. And so
okay.
we
So
have,
first two options.
no, we've already done, 15 presentations, and I've got 3 folks that were very close to getting to a beta build stage.
Good.
So, the reception's been great, but that's where we are on the journey. We're on retainer with, I don't know, maybe 8 clients right now, maybe 10. And then we're working on another maybe 20 phase ones, although that 20 includes PE firms in there that's likely going to be it. Now, we look at PE firm work as great. We establish a relationship. We build trust, credibility.
Right.
But the odds of them getting a meaningful to phase 3 is pretty low. Phase 2, 50-50.
So your portfolio clients are your stage 3 prospects.
Yes, this was purpose built for portfolio companies.
Okay, good strategy. All right, now with that being said, when you look at what you're doing with your clients, do you have multiple stakeholders, obviously, within the clients that you're trying to get to?
Absolutely.
You want to start off whenever possible, no doubt, at the C-suite. But what happens in reality is sometimes, do you ever have to go to RFP for any of these things?
No, we are competitively bid 100% of the time. The private equity is not going to single source. I mean, buying, a bag of peanuts. So they just don't do it. So we have to earn our way in. And also the economics of private equity are bifurcated. Anything for the PE firm comes out of the 2% or whatever, 1.5% they get for managing the fund. So they're using other people's money for their budget.
Right.
In the portfolio, it comes out of the, in effect, CapEx for the portfolio company. And so the decision and the pricing and other factors in the two worlds we play in are totally different.
Yeah. Which one do you prefer?
Well, look, because strategically and long term, the portfolio company stuff is our bread and butter. That's financially and strategically more important, but the relationships reside at the PE level.
Okay.
And the business mission is to have, let's say, 25 recurring, excellent, rock solid relationships at the PE level. Because at that point, Dennis, we don't have to sell ever again, ever.
No, they're in good shape at that point. It's like with what I do corporate training and development in the mortgage and real estate industry, and I have for my own business for 39 years, and trained over 165,000 people in the U.S., Australia, Canada, New Zealand. It's a lot easier for me to, when I do B of A and have all their consumer direct centers doing everything underneath me. Once I crack the code and get in, it's constant rotation and it's easy pickings. If you go to a new client that is just experimenting with the idea of better sales management and development, you have a little bit longer selling cycle. You don't have the references get me in the door, but then you have to go through the whole reestablishment of value. And you got to go, do I want to keep doing that? Because I've been doing it for a long time.
It's just, look, Dennis, I'm going to guess that you and I are about the same age.
I'm 72.
All right, I'll be 67 in October.
There you go. I got 5 on you.
It's a slug.
Yeah, but I mean, that's why we look at different methods of distribution to get your message out to rapidly expand your business. And I'll talk about that with you later on. So with that being said, let's talk about where you see the biggest challenges for your business growth in the years ahead.
I have 2 levels of sell that we've opted into, one of which is category, commercial impact through brand operationalization, or that operationalizing brand for commercial impact, right? That's a category that sort of doesn't exist, that we're inventing, and I'm going to be the Pied Piper of that.
Okay.
At the same time, I'm then selling the agency as being in a category of 1.
Okay. All right. So you're trying to establish something unique. I like what you're doing with that third phase and getting it with a portfolio client. I think that's brilliant, because otherwise you're going to stagnate where you were at just PE, if that's it.
Look, the world is filled with agencies, and the world's filled with clients, especially on the private equity side, who think, oh, I just need a website.
Right.
Help me with the website. And it's like, we are distancing ourselves from their perception or our response that we're website people. Not that I don't want the work, but I don't want that work. If I'm bidding on website projects, A, it's taking me off task, and B, it's a race to the bottom.
Yeah, it's a price-based, it's a commodity. You're basically a commodity.
And the price is going down.
Yeah, I know.
For 2 years now, the price has been going down.
And it will continue. What's your biggest opportunities? Besides, is it the new product that you're doing? Is that your biggest opportunity play, you think?
I saw the first demo of this, Dennis, about 6 weeks ago. And it's one of the rare times in the last 20 years that I just said, holy crap, this is going to change our fortunes.
Okay. I've got a similar feeling, and I'll share it with you. But anyway, regardless of all that, this story has been interesting, and we've spent 25 minutes. It was a great discussion. You shared a lot of really relevant things, and I love your strategy. So as we wrap this up, Scott, tell them what's the best way for people to go ahead and reach out to you to see if you guys would be a good fit for them at the Monogram Group.
So I'm going to be a little bit bold and a little bit
right, my man. Go
risky. Ahead. I'm going to give your listeners my phone number because it's our agency line. It's, here it is. We got rid of our agency line 5 years ago, and I'll give my email and as well as our website. So start with the website, Monogram, MONOGRAM group, GRUP, MonogramGroup.com. And everything that I just talked about is there.
Good.
Secondly, my email address, smarkman, SMARKMAN @monogramgroup.com. And thirdly, my cell phone, and please don't abuse the privilege to your listeners, 312-286-4219, 312-286-4219.
Love it. Scott, it's been a pleasure. You have a very interesting way you deliver things. I enjoy it. You're straightforward. I like that. And I imagine your clients will like that as well when they start to work with you. So I wish you nothing but the best and good luck in that new project.
And thanks for having me on the podcast. And this was a great conversation.
Thanks, Scott. Take care, bud.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Principal Podcast. We hope you've learned valuable lessons and strategies to grow your firm and take your business to the next level. Make sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you're listening to this show so you never miss an episode. To apply and be a guest on the show, click the link in the description. See you next time.